Alrighty, here we are with Tara again. Tara, thank you once again. And we've been doing a lot of shooting and demonstration and explaining, but we haven't covered one of literally the most important topics. And that is, how do you direct your subject? How do you direct and connect? Because you can't just direct, you need to direct and maintain that connection. And then how do you pose your subjects? So one of the first things that I like to do when I walk up to a scene, and we're just in kind of this random corner of Santa Barbara, but I love it because we have texture and old stuff, and we're also in shade right now, which is kind of nice. If I walk up to a place like this, I'll probably demonstrate a pose. So Tara, you kind of stay here for a second. I'm gonna go over to that railing over there. And I would say, hey Tara, how about if you cruise over here and you put your elbow on this little wall. Now I know this isn't great composition, but what you should be seeing is that I'm kicking my leg over, so I'm kind of casual. I'm not like nervous, I'm not doing this. I might show this if that's what I wanted, but I just am like, hey, just kind of a casual start, like you would talk to someone. Does that feel casual to you, Tara? And what this is doing is something which is called anchoring. And anchoring is, rather than having their subject floating, so imagine a boat, just, okay, what do I do? How do I stand? Nothing around me. You give them something to touch or do. You give them an action. And then I might say, well, what if you step up on these rocks? That's an easy command to follow. So Tara could be like, okay, I can step up on rocks. She'll kind of figure out, sort of say, well, like, how could I stand? And then I'll go from there. So posing isn't something where you say stand, tilt head, shoulders, legs, do something awkward. You keep it really natural and you're really flowing with how it works. So let's rewind. I'm here with Tara. I say something along the lines, Tara, thank you for coming. This is an honor to capture a portrait of you. And then I would explain that pose I did over there. And so pretend I just did that and said, why don't you try that out yourself? Put an elbow on it, kick your leg across, and do it where you're kind of turned a little bit. Yeah, like that. That's actually really cool. Super cool vibe. And let me just take a picture just to illustrate what I'm getting. I'm gonna come in a little close like this. And then, yeah, just like that, that's great. And then look away. Or why the heck would I have her look away? Well, I'm having her look away because in normal conversations, Tara and I would not stare at each other eye to eye and just stare constantly, or if I'm doing it at the camera, because the connection, it's made and then it falls apart. So one of the ways that you connect with your subject is you ask them a question, you say a compliment, you give them the ability, the permission to look away, and you create something which is anchored. An anchored posture or pose is touching something physically. Another one we could try, we could do the rocks maybe. Well, let's just do the rocks. So I'd say, hey, well, how about if you climb up on the rocks? So I'm working the scene a little bit more. That's great. Yeah, hands on your hips, like that, a little bit of an attitude. Yeah, I love that. As she stepped up there, she stepped up a little bit with her legs apart, and then that seemed like the hips, and then I was saying a little bit of attitude. I could have said a little bit softer, a little bit happier, a little bit more interesting or something. Now that's really cool right there, the reset. And whenever you see the reset, you want to say that. You know, I'm saying it now, obviously, for a teaching point, but I would say, oh my gosh, that's great. Hold it, hold it, hold it. I love that. I love that. Then I might come in close, look off to the side, take a breath, just breathe for a second, and now look back at the camera. Yeah, that's amazing. And the reason why I'm asking the subject to breathe is because often when we point a camera at someone, they hold their breath. And I know this from over 2 decades of experience as a photographer. I have this experience where I pick up a camera and I point at someone and they stop breathing. And then, as I am posing her, I can think of different posing ideas, but at some point, if there's something good that's happened, one of the things that I need to do is affirm that. So I might say, Tara, that was amazing. I could give a little knuckles. And that's a very safe way to make point of contact with someone. I found that works well with billionaires, with kids, with whoever the subject is. Because Tara and I know each other a little better, I might be like, Tara, that was epic, thank you, that was so good. And then because we do know each other at the end of the shoot, I might give her a hug or something like that. But the whole point is, I don't want to leave her orphaned on the set. I don't want to be back here in my own world telling her what to do this, do that, okay, that's great, okay, there, like that, like this, you know, without giving her that feedback. So even if I'm shooting back here, occasionally I'll set the camera down and come in and say, this looks really good. I love the hair, the jeans, the vibe, I like all this stuff. I might do the knuckle thing. And then of course, I'm gonna take the picture and then we'll go like that. A couple more posing things that are really important in regards to Tara. Right now her toes are pointed straight at the camera. That's a great way to have someone pose for a picture because it's kind of this honest eye-to-eye level. But another way is to tilt the shoulders. So the way I do that is have them point their toes. So I'd say point your toes towards over here. Yeah. And then all of a sudden her shoulders are now slanted a little bit. And then look back towards the camera. Yeah, and even, I think hands on the hips is kind of cool. And I'm trying to mirror the behavior. I'm kind of standing the same way if I have my camera. I actually do like that.
Like your hands over the jacket or under?
I do like them over. I think that's really cool. Having the chance to have feedback like that is cool. So Terry just said, do I like the hands over the jacket or under? I said, yeah, I like them over. So dialoguing, collaborating. Another posing idea, which could be like, Tara, do you have any ideas? Or whoever your subject is. Okay, so far we have anchoring, something to touch. Small action, something to do, step up on the rocks. Look away, then look back at the camera. Then we talked about shoulders and our shoulders being tilted. So we can do straight on if we want, we can do this. And then another thing we do that you've probably noticed Tara does really well is she'll put weight on one leg. And when you put weight on one leg, naturally it creates sometimes an interesting, yeah, like even like that, it's very natural. She's not throwing her hip out super far, she's just putting weight on one leg. Now, if I come in here and I notice as I'm shooting, yeah, look away, a little more warmth. So I'm just saying kind of what I'm looking for. Look back towards the camera. Yeah, just like that. Yeah. I want her to bring her head around this way a little bit. I might use a hand. So pretend your head was, you're looking over here. I said, well, bring your head right there. Yeah. So I could use a hand gesture. Yeah, just like that, looking right at the camera. Close your eyes for a second, take a breath. And then look back towards the camera when you're ready. Great. Well, let's do a different pose. Let's do a sitting pose. How about if you sit down on one of these rocks and just however feels natural to you. And let's go to something where you're gonna close your eyes and think about a hardship you faced and a friend that helped you overcome that hardship. So we're kind of channeling the energy of friendship here. Close your eyes, soak up that moment, and then look back at the camera when you're ready with that gratitude and warmth. Yeah, for that person. Yeah. We don't even need to know who that person is or what that story is, but oftentimes that can be a great way to quote, pose, direct, and connect. Because rather than thinking about having your photograph being taken, you're thinking about somewhere else. And many of the most famous photographs in the world have been captured that way. For example, let's say the most famous photograph of Steve Jobs. The photographer said, think about exact thing that I said, an obstacle you faced and what it required to overcome it. And there's this just look in his face, you can tell there's meaning. It's not an empty gaze. Last thing I want to mention here, as you're moving with your subject, you'll notice that as I'm getting closer, almost always I'm saying, I'm gonna come closer. So if Tara's standing here and I'm shooting from this distance, before I just go here and take the picture, that's too close. You're in someone's personal space. What you need to do is say, hey, I'm gonna move in closer, I'm gonna move over here to the side, how about that? I'm conveying what's happening. And that can really put your subject at ease so that you're connecting with them, right? Because direction and posing, it doesn't really do anything if you don't have that connection. And that's what portraits are really all about. So that wraps up our conversation about some of these topics. And we're gonna see more of this throughout this course. These foundational principles we're gonna put into practice as we get out there in the world and capture photographs of different people. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to learn more, you can join me in the full-length course where we're gonna dive deep into different topics like composition and light. We're gonna go to fascinating locations. We're gonna explore how we can really connect with our subjects and how we can photograph a wide range of subjects. So if you are interested in learning how to capture better portraits, Be sure to click on the link in the description below, and I'll see you inside the full version of this course.